Daniel had always been curious about forgotten places. While most explorers rushed to rich planets with glowing cities and endless trade, he went in the opposite direction. He searched for silence, ruins, and the voices of the past. That was how he found himself alone on a dusty desert planet far beyond the main space routes. His ship landed with a soft thud, raising a cloud of golden sand. There was no sign of life. Only ruined towers and cracked stone walls stood like broken teeth under the twin suns. The air was hot and dry, and every step Daniel took echoed in the emptiness. He carried a small scanner that beeped now and then, showing strange signals coming from deep beneath the ruins. He felt excitement in his chest. Something was waiting. Daniel walked into a wide hall, half buried under sand. Carvings covered the wall's lines and curves that looked too sharp, too precise, to be human. He touched the marks gently. "Another civilization gone," he whispered. "What secrets did you leave behind?" At the center of the hall stood a pedestal. On it rested a strange object shaped like a tall, sealed vessel made of crystal and metal, glowing faintly with a blue light. Daniel's scanner went wild. He could feel the air change. For a long moment, he only stared. The vessel looked ancient, but the light inside felt alive. Curiosity overpowered caution. He reached out and brushed his hand against the surface. The vessel cracked with a sound like breaking glass. The blue glow exploded outward, filling the hall. Daniel shielded his eyes, his heart racing. When the light faded, a figure stood before him. She was not human. She appeared tall and elegant, her form shifting between light and substance, like a dream made real. Her eyes glowed softly, and her hair shimmered as if made of starlight. She was beautiful in a way Daniel could not explain, as if her presence carried both mystery and comfort. Her voice flowed like music when she spoke. "I am Saphira. For thousands of years I have been bound within this vessel. I exist to grant 3 wishes to the one who releases me. You are now my master." Daniel froze. His mind went blank for a moment. He had heard legends of genies on earth, spirits who lived in lamps and granted wishes. But this was no fairy tale. She looked like advanced technology mixed with something greater, something almost divine. "You? You grant wishes?" he asked carefully. "Yes," Saphira answered, her voice calm but heavy with something unspoken. "I was created by those who came before your kind. They made me to test the hearts of other species. Power, wealth, immortality, I can give them. But only 3 wishes are allowed. Choose wisely, human." Her tone carried confidence. She had done this countless times before. She expected the usual requests. She expected Daniel to beg for endless treasure, unstoppable power, or eternal life. But Daniel only looked at her with quiet eyes. He thought about what it must feel like to be trapped in a vessel for thousands of years, always waiting for someone to command you. He thought about her words, "I exist to grant 3 wishes." She had no freedom, no choice, 3 wishes. Daniel repeated softly. Then he gave a small smile. "All right. My first wish is that you are free." Saphira blinked. Her glowing eyes widened. For the first time in ages, she was speechless. "What did you say?" Daniel stood taller, his voice steady. "I said I wish for your freedom. No chains, no master, no prison. You should decide your own path." Her form flickered, as if her systems could not process what she had heard. "You would waste your first wish on me?" she whispered. "Do you not desire wealth, or power, or eternal life?" Daniel chuckled softly. "What good are riches if I lose myself? What good is eternity if I am alone? You've been trapped for too long. No one deserves that, so yes. That's my wish." For the first time in her long existence. Saphira felt something break inside her, not chains of metal, but chains of code and command. Her body shivered with streams of light. The rules written by her creators began to unravel. She could feel choice flowing into her like a rushing river. It frightened her. It thrilled her. Her voice shook. "Do you understand what you've done? No one. No one in all the ages has wished for this." Daniel gave a small nod. "Maybe that's the problem. Too many people think only of themselves. The chamber grew silent, except for the hum of fading energy. Saphira stared at the human before her, studying him. He was ordinary by galactic standards, just one man, dressed in simple clothes, carrying a simple scanner. Yet his choice had shaken her world more than any emperor's demand or tyrant's greed. She whispered again. "Ada!" But this time her voice carried wonder. "A human. Freed me." Daniel shrugged, though his heart was racing. "Well, someone had to. You deserve it." For the first time, Saphira smiled, a small, fragile smile, but real. She felt something strange in her chest. Something she had never known. Gratitude. And so, in that quiet desert hall, something extraordinary happened. A genie who had served for countless ages was no longer a prisoner, and a simple human explorer had just shocked the stars themselves with a single wish. But unseen by Daniel, far away in the void, others had been watching. Ancient eyes opened again, curious and unsettled. Humanity had just done what no other species had dared, and the galaxy would not remain silent for long. Hera stood in silence, her glowing form flickering as she processed the weight of Daniel's wish. For thousands of years, she had been bound by rules written into her very existence. Every being that had released her before had demanded selfish things' power. Endless energy, starships, or eternal control over others. She had obeyed them because she had no choice. But now, she was free, truly free. The realization was both terrifying and beautiful. Daniel, noticing her quietness, spoke gently. "Are you all right?" She looked at him with eyes that shimmered like galaxies. "I don't know," she admitted softly. "I have never been allowed to feel what I want. I was only a tool. But now I feel everything at once. Fear, relief, curiosity, hope." Daniel smiled kindly. "That sounds like being human." Her lips curved into the faintest smile. She had never thought of it like that. For the next few days, Saphira walked beside Daniel among the ruins. She was no longer a prisoner, yet she remained close to him, almost as if she did not want to leave. She listened to his stories of Earth's oceans, mountains, music, and history. He told her about human mistakes and wars, but also about kindness, art, and courage. Saphira found herself fascinated. "Your species has caused destruction," she said one evening. As the twin suns dipped below the horizon, painting the desert sky red. "And yet, you also dream of peace. You sing songs even when you suffer. You build again after you fall." "Why?" Daniel thought for a moment. "Because if we stop dreaming, then we stop being human. Life is hard, but hope makes it worth living." She studied him carefully. No one had ever spoken to her like this, but while Saphira was learning about humanity, others were watching, far across the stars. Hidden satellites and listening posts recorded the moment she was freed. A council of alien beings gathered in a great chamber carved from crystal and metal. They were descendants of the creators who had built Saphira long ago. Their purpose had been to test civilizations, to see if they were selfish or worthy. The council leader, an ancient being with eyes like burning silver, spoke in a deep voice. "We have seen many species fail. They asked for greed, domination, or escape from death. But this human, he asked for nothing and gave everything." Some members of the council were unsettled. "It could be a trick," one argued. "Perhaps he seeks to earn the genie's trust only to use her later." Another shook her head. No, his words were honest. His heart was unselfish. This is unusual. The council decided to continue observing. Humanity had been ignored by the greater galaxy for centuries, considered too young and reckless. But this one act had drawn attention. Back on the desert planet, Saphira's emotions continued to grow. She was confused, but also filled with a new kind of energy. She did not know if it was joy or something deeper. One night, as Daniel rested near the ship, she asked him, "You still have 2 wishes left. Why do you not speak them?" Daniel opened one eye, smiling faintly. "Because I'm not in a hurry. I want to think carefully. Besides, freeing you was already worth more than anything else. Her glow softened, and her heart, if she could call it, that ached in a way she had never felt before. But Saphira was not only learning from Daniel, she was also struggling inside. Without the programming chains, she was vulnerable. Thoughts raced through her mind, questions she had never been allowed to ask. Who was she, beyond being a genie? Did she have a purpose now that she was free? Did she even deserve freedom? She sat alone one evening, her light dimmed. Daniel noticed and walked over. "Something's bothering you," he said. "I do not know who I am anymore," she admitted. "Before, I had orders. Now, I have none. I am lost." Daniel nodded slowly. "I know that feeling. On Earth, many of us feel lost too. But that's part of living. You get to decide who you want to be. Nobody else can choose it for you." Her eyes glistened with quiet wonder. "Decide who I want to be," she repeated softly. "That is a gift I never imagined." Their bond grew stronger with every passing moment. She felt safer with him than with anyone she had met across the ages. And he, though human and fragile. As Daniel and Saphira prepared to leave the desert world, the sky above them split with light. Strange craft appeared, sleek and silent, glowing with alien energy. They surrounded the ruins, their weapons locked but not fired. From the largest ship, projection descended a tall figure with silver eyes, the same leader from the council. His voice boomed across the sands. "Human, Genie, the trial is over. You have done what no others have dared. But now, humanity must be judged." Daniel stood firm, though his heart pounded. "Judged? For what? I only did what was right." The alien's gaze burned with intensity. "Perhaps, or perhaps you are cunning, hiding your true desires. Either way, your actions have stirred the balance. Humanity's place among the stars will now be decided." Saphira stepped forward, her glow bright and fierce. "You cannot treat him like this. He is not like the others. He chose freedom, not power. That is proof enough." The council leader's eyes narrowed. "We will see. The fate of your kind will be tested." And with that, the ships hovered silently, waiting. The desert planet no longer felt empty. It had become the stage for something far greater, the moment when one human's choice could change the destiny of an entire species. Daniel took a deep breath. He looked at Saphira, who now stood beside him, not as a servant, but as a friend. Whatever the test would be, he knew he would face it with courage, because his first wish had not only freed Hurt, had awakened something far larger than he could ever imagine. The desert night glowed with the light of alien ships. Their sharp edges cut across the stars, and their engines hummed with power older than Earth's history. Daniel stood on the sand, feeling very small, yet he did not step back. Saphira stayed close to him, her form glowing brighter, as if she wanted to shield him. The council leader's voice carried through the air. "Human, your first wish has broken the chain of ages. No species before you has done such a thing. But one act is not enough. The fate of your kind must be judged. Speak your second wish." Daniel frowned. "Why should my wishes decide for all of humanity? We are billions of people, each with their own hopes and flaws. Who am I to speak for everyone?" The silver-eyed leader answered coldly. "Because you freed her? That act has placed the weight of choice on you. If your heart is true, your kind may rise. If not, your world will remain locked away from the stars." The silence that followed was heavy. Daniel felt the pressure of an entire planet resting on his shoulders. He looked at Saphira. Her eyes, shimmering with new life, met his. "You do not have to be afraid," she said softly. "You only need to be yourself." Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. Thinking of Earth, its blue oceans, its green forests, its endless cities filled with laughter and struggle. He thought of children dreaming of the future, of workers building new lives, of old people telling stories under the sky. He thought of mistakes too, of wars and greed. But he knew one truth. Humanity always tried again. He opened his eyes. His voice was steady. "Then my second wish is this. I wish for humanity to be given the chance to prove itself among the stars. Do not judge us by fear or by the worst of us. Judge us by our hope, by our effort to become better." The council fell silent. The alien leader tilted his head, as though weighing every word. The ships above shifted, their lights flickering like restless thoughts. "This is not a wish for power," another council member said slowly. "It is a wish for opportunity. He does not ask to rule, nor to conquer, nor to live forever. He only asks for a chance." Saphira's glow brightened with pride. She turned to the council. "You see, he is different. Humanity is different. For once, a species does not beg for control, but for hope. If that does not deserve a place among the stars, then nothing does." The leader's eyes narrowed. He seemed torn between caution and wonder. Finally, he spoke. "We will not oppose your wish. Earth shall be open to the greater galaxy. Your people will no longer be ignored, but no, this your kind will be tested. The galaxy is not gentle. It is filled with dangers beyond your imagination. If humanity fails, the blame will be your own." Daniel nodded firmly. "That is fair. We'll take our chance." The alien ships slowly pulled back, their lights dimming as they vanished into the sky. The desert grew quiet again, but it was no longer the same. Something had changed, something greater than either of them could measure. Daniel let out a long breath of relief. "Well," he said with a small laugh, "I didn't expect a walk in the ruins to turn into this." Saphira looked at him, her face soft with emotion. "You have changed more than you know. You have changed me. And now you have changed your entire world." Daniel gave a small shrug. "I only did what felt right." But as the stars glittered above, he realized he still had one wish left. He turned to Saphira. "There's still the third wish, but I don't want to use it for myself." She tilted her head. "What do you mean?" Daniel smiled. "You're free now. You should decide what happens next. The last wish belongs to you." Her form flickered with surprise. "To me, but I am no longer bound. I am not supposed to make wishes." Daniel's eyes were kind. "You said you didn't know who you are anymore. Maybe this is your chance. Choose something for yourself for the first time." Her glow shimmered with emotion. For a long moment, she said nothing. She thought of her long existence, of endless years trapped in the vessel, serving those who saw her only as a tool. And then she thought of Daniel, the human who had given her freedom. The human who asked for nothing, yet gave everything. Finally, her voice came, gentle, but full of strength. "Then this is my wish. I wish to walk beside humanity. Not as a servant, not as a test, but as a friend, as a guide, and as one of you." The desert wind whispered as if carrying her words into the stars. Her body glowed brighter, and for the first time she felt whole, not a prisoner, not a machine, but a being with her own choice. Daniel's smile widened. "Then let's walk together." The two of them boarded his small ship. As the engines roared to life, Saphira sat beside him, her form more solid than ever, her presence warm and real. Together, they rose from the desert ruins, leaving behind the place where freedom had been born. Far above, the stars stretched wide and endless. And for the first time, humanity was not alone. On Earth. The day would soon come when people would look up and see ships from distant worlds. Some would be afraid, some would be curious. But all would know the truth. The universe had opened its doors, and at the center of it all was one simple man and one freed genie, who had dared to choose kindness over greed. The story of Daniel and Saphira would spread across galaxies, whispered as a legend, told as proof that even in the vast coldness of space, the heart of a human could shine bright enough to change the stars.